Hello everyone, this is Ronnie. Thank you for watching, joining, subscribing to the channel. On this channel we talk mostly about the raw vegan diet, my own journey with the raw vegan diet, and we talk about other health related topics. Occasionally I throw in a little bit of music or something from my own life or whatever. But I try and stick to what I think you've probably found the channel for, which is the raw food or raw vegan diet. And in this video, I'm going to talk about why education is so important. And part of the reason I'm going to do that is because I am promoting my course, which is coming up. So I just wanted to be upfront about that. I'm running an online course. I've done it 3 times before. It's called The Beginner's Guide to the Raw Vegan Diet. It's approximately over 6 weeks, 12 live classes, and plenty of time to ask me questions and learn from the classes. And if you want to join me in a webinar tomorrow, 7 p.m. GMT, Greenwich Mean Time. It'll be about 2 p.m. if you're in the east coast of the US, and 11 a.m. if you're in the west coast of the US, and everything in between. If you're in Europe, it'll be about 8 p.m. If you're in Australia, it'll be like super early in the morning, so it might not be appropriate for you. So anyway, that. And you can go to rawvegancourse.com/Ronnie to sign up for the webinar tomorrow, and I'll hopefully see you there. And I'll talk more about the course within that webinar. But why is education important? And the reason that I say that is because for a lot of people, they would say, well, if we find our natural diet, shouldn't we just instinctively do the diet, and shouldn't our body kind of tell us what to do, and we just follow our body and all the rest of it? And I really do wish that was the case. And for me personally, I think that I suspected that might be the case as well. Because when I started off on this diet, I was kind of trying to do it on my own, really. I was very skeptical at first about the whole thing, and I was very cautious about even joining a forum or even subscribing to someone's YouTube channel. I started to watch the videos and people's videos, but I didn't even subscribe to their channel, or I didn't subscribe to their website. I was very, very cautious about the whole thing. It took me a while to take steps forward, and eventually I go to events and meet people and become involved, and realize that this is a really great community. You know, the people that are in the raw vegan, raw food movement are pretty cool people. And it's a great movement to be part of. But at the time I was super skeptical. Obviously, probably didn't really want to spend money. Probably didn't want to have to buy a book or learn anything. Probably didn't want to spend too much time watching videos or whatever. I just probably wanted it to be really simple, really easy, and I'll just go and just eat raw foods and see what happens. And what I quickly found was I was experiencing things, I was making mistakes, and I experienced things that the people whose videos I was watching actually predicted, and actually said this is what happens to people when they try a raw food diet and they don't really know what they're doing. And so they were absolutely right. And so I had to start learning more and taking more time and studying, and start to get books and studying. And then eventually I went to events and got one-on-one with people and got mentorship and advice, and continued to go to events and continued to learn on my own and watch videos and all that stuff. So I put a lot of time and effort and money, I suppose, into my journey of learning about this diet and this lifestyle. And the education part was really essential, and meeting mentors was really essential as well, because they've got invaluable advice that really helps speed up the whole process, but keeps you confident about what you're doing. If I never met another raw vegan in my life, I don't think I'd be able to, I don't think I would have stuck to this diet. It was because I met people that had been doing it for so much longer than me that it gave me the confidence to do it. And their confidence gave me more confidence. But I had to learn some essential little pieces to the puzzle. At the same time, I just enjoyed learning. I like getting a full picture of a whole situation. I don't know if you're like me, but I don't just like hearing, okay, here's a raw vegan diet and it works, do it. I like hearing the whole process, the journey, other people's stories, Who even came up with this idea? What did other people try in the past? What did people used to do? I love the whole thing surrounding it. I love the whole thing. And the raw food movement, raw food situation, is so interesting in a way because it's never really become a major corporate thing. You could maybe say the juicers, the biggest thing, maybe that became more of a corporate thing. Some of the equipments, food dehydrators that kind of come from the raw food movement, juicers that kind of come from the raw food movement, but it really comes from gourmet cooking, really, and kitchens, and blenders, which once again really come from kitchens, don't really come from the raw food movement. The raw food movement used all these things to make dishes, but these things come from the kitchen industry, the chef industry. So the juice man, for example, I don't know if you've heard this story. I only heard this recently. Apparently in the US, the total number of juicers that sold over the course of a year, in terms of money wise, was like 12 million juicers, or $12 million, or 18 million, somewhere between 12 and 18 million dollars worth of juicers. I think one of those numbers. And the juice man came along, Jay Kordich, and he started to have infomercials selling juicers. And he told his incredible story of how he had cancer, and then he did apple and carrot juice, and his cancer went away and all that. Whether that's true or not, who knows really, but that's the story he kind of used. Funnily enough, the guy wasn't a vegan, wasn't a raw vegan, wasn't a raw foodist at all, but he did live a long life. But he would sell his juicers at, apparently, in live seminars. So he would give seminars, give talks in front of audiences, and he would sell his juicer. They then translated that onto the television, and they sold like 12. They sold in 1 year, apparently they sold $75 million worth of juicers. The Juice Man juicer, in the US alone, and this is when the total market for juicers was like $12 million or something a few years before that. So that's the closest maybe that the raw food movement's been to being like totally corporatized in a way. Nutrition, superfoods maybe, supplements maybe, and there's a lot of people that have ran very small businesses in the surrounding raw foods. And raw foods education and stuff. Very small businesses. A lot of people have barely scraped by making a living selling stuff in the raw food movement because people just got passionate about it and wanted to share it, and they realised it was kind of difficult for them to give away everything for free, or even give everything away for, like, because you're trying to just give everything away to try and help people, and you couldn't really survive doing that. So the raw food movement's pretty cool because of that. It's like it's never really been fully taken. The other side of it is maybe the sanatoriums, the fasting centres, but even these, they're very small businesses. Again, they've never really. Even the biggest fasting centre might be one of them might be that place in California. It's still very small. It'll still be a very small thing. There's only one of them. It's not like they've got one in every state in the US. Which they could have they could have 10 in every state in the US in terms of the numbers of people that need it. But anyway, why am I'm going off in a whole tangent here. I like understanding all this stuff. I suppose I like hearing about all this stuff, and I like understanding that despite the fact that it's never been a big corporate thing, it's the ideas kind of kept going. You know, it's kept going and kept traveling down the years because it makes sense, and it works for people. It really works when there's no other solution, you know. So some people like to learn like me just because I'm curious. I like to hear stories like that. I like to hear about the Juice Man and all these different people. Someone that worked for the Juice Man, I probably won't say their name, but you might know who it is. But someone I know worked for the Juice Man, and he told me that he was eating grilled cheese sandwiches and stuff like that. So he wasn't a particularly healthy guy, but he he was selling the juicers. Maybe he thought his juice kind of made him invulnerable, but he did live to a long age. This is a total tangent I'm going down. I just find stuff like that kind of fascinating. But it's very easy basically to make mistakes on the raw vegan diet, and those mistakes lead to people not doing the diet for very long. Also, people have a lot of challenges. They have a lot of fears, they have a lot of worries, and something happens. I was speaking to someone recently, they said they had a dream about pizza and it made them think, I need to stop doing this raw diet. And I can understand why someone would think like that, and I would have probably thought like that at the time as well. But my experience and my education, my knowledge makes me realize that that's not a sign from the body that you need to eat pizza. That's not what that is. So through learning we can go further, and we can do better, and we can eat better, and we can do the diet better, and feel better, and thrive more on a raw vegan diet, and do it longer, and we can also pass it on to other people. And so the people that join my course, they're not always beginners. I call it beginner's guide to the raw vegan diet, but sometimes they're people that have already been doing the diet a while, but they'd like to learn more. They're maybe looking to pass it on to other people, so they want to clarify in their head why they're doing it. Or they might just be, they've fallen off their raw journey, and they just want to kind of get inspired again. So it's not always beginners that join, but it is designed for beginners. But it's interesting for people who are not just beginners. The classes are all taught by myself, and the whole idea is to take away all your fears, worries, concerns, answer all your questions, and provide really clear advice, guidance into how to do the diet well and how to do it long term. And people like the whole community aspect of it as well, because we have a group of people doing it together. And so we'll have a webinar tomorrow night at 7 p.m. So there'll be a link below this video, rawvegancourse.com/Ronnie, and you can join me there. You can register there. If you want a phone call, you can put your phone number in. I'll give you a phone about it if that's what you prefer, because some people maybe aren't very good with online stuff or joining webinars. People are always saying, oh, I've missed it, or I couldn't hear it, or I tried to log in and I couldn't. Like, a lot of people aren't that good with computers, so if you'd prefer a phone call, no obligation to sign up. I'll just give you the information, and you can whatever join if you like. So that's what I'm doing. But the education side is important to give people confidence. It's important to steer people in the right direction. It's important to make people feel a bit more secure, more clarity in what they're doing, help people create a plan for themselves. That's all really invaluable stuff, and it's a nice focused way of kind of learning it all, rather than maybe taking a bunch of years and watching all sorts of different videos. A really important thing about what I try and do is to guide you away from the stuff that I see as a bit of a waste of time. There's a lot of stuff that you'll confront and come across, and people will try and sell you on in the raw vegan or the raw food movement, that to me is a little bit of a waste of time, isn't really effective, doesn't really make any sense. So I'm trying to help people avoid a lot of these, going up these little paths to nowhere, and I'm trying to keep people on a good path towards good health. So that's rawvegancourse.com/Ronnie. You can join me there, and I look forward to seeing you hopefully tomorrow night. And just to let you know, we've got the Love Fruit podcast. If you want to go and watch some of our interviews or listen to podcasts, Love Fruit podcast, you can check that out on all the podcast platforms, and on my channel, and on the UK Fruit Fest channel. And you can join me in my newsletter, fruitfest.co.uk, if you want to join my newsletter and stay in touch. So thank you very much for watching the video. Hope to see some of you in the webinar, and I will see you later.